Hey folks, yeah, let's retry this again because camera fell. Hopefully it's alright. It's supposed to be durable. But anyway, I've talked about this before and I'm going to talk about it again because I just feel it's something I need to address. You know, I've talked about this with Zara Nizarak many times, and he's basically told me, and correctly so, has told me that certain things cannot be on Blu-ray or remastered in Blu-ray as some people might want it to be because they're just simply not possible. I mean, it is possible, to quote him, if they, let's say, when it comes to an animated show, they decide to take the time to redraw scene by scene uh, certain scenes that need to be corrected so that they could go from that work print straight to Blu-ray or something like that. But he did say one thing, though. One thing that I think I pointed out to him, and I think he knows about. I know people like David Bunch-of-Numbers. I think David Hinkle knows about. Anybody at the Facebook page, my DVD and Blu-ray updates, knows about. And that is, it is indeed possible that, yes, it is indeed possible for the shows to be put on Blu-ray, but just not in the manner we want them to be put on Blu-ray. Some of us want them to be given the same treatment like a movie is given. Like King of Kings has been given, movies like The Outsiders, the King Kong and Godzilla, the original Godzilla films from the 90s and the classic ones, all that. We want them all to be given that same treatment, that remastered treatment, to where it's being shown to you the way it was first shown in theaters. And that's a great idea and everything, but here's the problem. Here's the problem. All right? Those were meant to be filmed in that manner because of the theatrical presentation they were going to be given and being shown on. Shows like, let's say, Transformers, G.I. Joe, SatAM, Sonic SatAM, and Mask, and even Gem, were all meant to be shown the way they were done. That's how it is. They were all meant to be seen the way they were done. And just because we feel as though it's still possible for them to be remastered and given that same treatment, it might be, but we'll never know. Some might say, well, the technology's there. Believe me, I'm one of those people that have said, hey, the technology is there for a remastering or a Blu-ray presentation for a remastering or a Blu-ray presentation of those shows. And maybe the technology's there, maybe they're working on the technology, we don't know. Okay, we don't really know. But I'm sure when people see something like this, like I did, or see something like Wonderful Life, well, not just Wonderful Life, but mostly stuff like this, and then they see it presented the way they see it broadcast in the high definition channels, they do kind of ask themselves that question of why. Why are those put on Blu-ray, and yet people say it's not possible for shows that we grew up on in the 80s and the 90s and early 2000s, the 70s and even the 60s to get that same treatment? And that is a good question, and like I said, it's not possible. It's not possible. The only thing is you're going to get exactly the same treatment. They're going to get exactly the same treatment as these Christmas specials, holiday specials get. I look at Charlie Brown's Christmas, Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, Halloween, New Year's, and those are on Blu-ray too. But they'll all be given the same treatment. Yeah, they're remastered. They have been, as they put it, remastered or up-converted to look great on television to look great in high definition, especially if they're going on Blu-ray. And you might say, well, and you hear this and you might ask, well, couldn't they do the same with the 80s shows? Yeah, they can. They can, and they probably would. But the thing is, it's an 80s a cartoon show. A cartoon show from the 80s, the 90s, 70s, 60s, and the early 2000s that could get that probably would, but they won't, because the only thing people would be concerned about the most by putting them on Blu-ray is possibly financially saving money. They could save money that way because they wouldn't have to distribute as many DVDs as they would Blu-rays. They could get more on the DVD, more onto the Blu-ray, as well as at the same time they could upconvert, not remaster, but upconvert it to where it looks, at least acceptable, at least very, very decent in a sense. To where it looks very decent, it looks very acceptable in a sense that you could accept that you're not going to get a full screen presentation. Now you might say, well, wait a minute. What about this? You showed pictures of this. You showed video of this being full screen. Here's the thing though. There's a difference between DVD and Blu-ray. A DVD is basically standard video. That's what it is. It's standard video to the point that you have these DVDs now, DVD players out now. You have these Blu-ray players, which are basically upconverting DVD players, which basically do what an upconverting DVD player does, and that's just upconvert the quality of the picture and the quality of the picture as well as the size of it. And that's all it is, especially if you have an HDMI cable connected to an HD TV. It's going to basically stretch out the picture and kind of clean it up a bit, kind of like upconvert it, kind of make it look basically new, like it's just been broadcast today, like it was made recently this year or in the past year or so. That's what it does. It doesn't do anything else. It doesn't do anything else. That's what it does. That's what it does. It doesn't do anything else. It's mainly upconvert and stretches out the picture. Now, the big difference though, if it was to be put on Blu-ray, the upconversion would have already happened, but you wouldn't have a stretching of the picture. It would basically be blocked in. Trying to get my dog in. She likes to go to the side of the house. I don't know why. But like I said, it would mainly be blocked in is what it would be. Basically, a picture like this, it would not be full screen. I don't know if you can see this, but it would not be full screen. It would basically be like this. Instead of this, you get this if it's on Blu-ray. And that's the truth. Again, it's like if you would watch the show on an HD TV. It's like if you were to watch the show on an HD TV. It's going to be blocked in. End of story. Like if you try to watch a standard definition channel on a high definition with a high definition television, you're always going to get that blocking, right? I know several times my mom will watch the news or watch Entertainment Tonight, and she's so used, and basically she, like a lot of people, is so used to the standard definition channels that I have to go up and say, oh no, that's not the channel you need. Let me get you the channel you need. And I would have to go to the HD channel so she could see it in full screen high definition. That's what I would have to do. I would have to basically I'd basically have to change the channel. I'd basically have to change the channel for her to watch it the way it's meant to be on a TV like that. You know, I would have to do that. I would have to do that. I would have to, you know, do that scenario. However, when you watch something like, let's say, the Christmas specials of certain movies or shows even on a high def channel, on the high def version of that channel, it's still going to get boxed in. You see, and you see now I'm kind of getting the idea of exactly what we would get if Blu-rays were possible for these. If we get future Blu-ray releases with these shows. Now I'm kind of seeing what's possible. And what's possible is the fact that, yeah, you could get a whole series on just a few amount of Blu-rays than you would DVDs. I think Zara Nizarak said that with Transformers Generation 1, 4 Blu-rays, that's it. Series complete. Documentaries, everything. You know, special features, documentaries, everything, boom, there you go. You know, Mask, it's got 6 discs, just like Gem does. I think Gem's got 6 discs or 9 or something like that. You'd be looking at maybe 3 or 2 discs. You know, 3 or 2 discs. Mainly 2 Blu-ray discs for I think, for Mask, and I think the same, maybe 3 discs or so for Gem. Maybe 4 discs, maybe as many as 4 discs for Gem, but I'm not really sure. You take a look at My Little Pony Generation 1, you'd be getting like 2 discs there. See, a lot of these shows back in the 80s that basically had that 65 episode ratio, if they were given the Blu-ray treatment, it'd mainly be because, one, it could be up-converted just a little bit to look better, but also it would save money economically for the companies to do so, but also they could get more on the Blu-ray disc than they could on DVD. I know that sounds crazy, but it's the truth. But you wouldn't get a full screen experience like you're hoping. You wouldn't get that, oh, now it's all full screen, just like it would be in a theater. No, it would basically be a boxed-in feel. That's all it would be. It'd be like I said, if you're watching the Rankin Bass specials on a high-definition channel, or if you bought the Blu-ray like I have, it's basically going to be boxed in. It'll be up-converted, or in some cases, maybe if they're lucky enough, remastered, but it's going to be just basically the way you would see it on a regular broadcast standard broadcast channel. That's it. I mean, it's not going to be like this or like this, because these were meant to be these ways. That's how they were filmed. Again, the only reason something would be put on Blu-ray and eventually in the future is because of that reason. And again, I truly believe, I hate to say this, and I know some people might disagree, I truly believe we're heading in that direction. I believe we're heading in that direction to the point that, yes, someday down the line, maybe starting next year, I mean, it's already started somewhat according to what Zara Nizarak has said with The Simpsons, but I believe starting somewhat more so next year and going into years to come, that yeah, we'll still have our DVD box sets and complete series sets and all that, but in addition, we're also going to get not remastered, but we're also going to get Blu-ray sets. We're going to get Blu-ray sets that are going to have the same things that the DVD sets have. The only difference is they're going to be less disc compared to what you get on DVD. So for something that could be 15 disc, 6 disc, 7 disc, you can end up getting 4 disc, 3 disc, 2 disc, 1 disc. I mean, something like Sat AM, the complete series, would go on 1 Blu-ray disc. And that's the truth. You know, Sonic Underground would be the same way. They'd probably get a disc, 1 disc, maybe 2. Adventures would probably get the 2 disc treatment.